Hare Krishna, Dandal Pranam to all the Vaishnavas listening to me. Today we will continue with the 46th question of the chapter Living Entities of Sambandha Part. Before that, let us offer our prayers at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev and all our previous acharyas. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तद्कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितनाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Let us continue with the 46th question where we left in the last recording. The question was, who is not fit to be called a human being? Answer is, a person who does not know what this world is, who he is, who the world was created by, what his duty is, or what he will gain or lose by performing his duty cannot be counted as a human being. 47th question is, what is the destination of a person who believes his life is in the hands of fate? Answer is, those who immerse their existence in the current of their fortune are like dead fish. While floating in the ocean of material existence, they are sometimes tossed up and sometimes tossed down by the tide. They can never reach their desired destination. 48th question is, what is the symptom of a conditioned soul? Answer is, even after degrading to hell, a conditioned soul does not wish to give up his body, and after getting respite from hell, he becomes bewildered by the Lord's illusory energy. 49th question is, what is the nature of the materialists? Answer is, materialists do not have time to hear or speak about Krishna. Whether they engage in pious activities or in sinful activities, they are always far away from the science of self-realization. Fiftieth question is, what is the nature of the conditioned souls? Answer is, though a cloud impedes the eye of an observer when he gazes at the sun, with his cloudy vision, he sees that the tiny cloud is covering the sun, not himself. In the same way, the conditioned souls, with their material intelligence, senses and decisions, accept Gokula as a piece of immeasurable land. 51st question is the mind spiritual? An element that does not remain with the living entity in all circumstances is not eternal. The mind is a temporary faculty. In its constitutional position, the soul does not accept a material faculty. The mind is therefore a product of matter. However, since the mind is very subtle, it is superior to many material objects. 52nd question is, what is material time? Answer is, in the liberated state, a living entity is not influenced by material time. In the conditioned state, the living entity come under the control of time in the form of meeting, separation, existence and activity. The conditioned soul's contact with the material world is therefore called material time. 53rd question is, who attains which destination in the 14 worlds? Answer is, Grahasthas who engage in pious activities and who desire to enjoy the fruits of their karma attain the 3 planetary systems, Bholoka, Bhuvarloka and Swarloka. Above these are 4 planets, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka and Satyaloka, which are the destination of brahmacharis, vanasprathas and sannyasis. Grahasthas who have no material desires and who engage in their occupational duties also attain these 4 planets. 54th question is, what question arise when contemplating the absolute truth? Answer is, in spite of drawing conclusions on various topics, I have drawn none regarding the absolute truth. While contemplating on the absolute truth, a few questions arose in my mind. Who am I? What is my relationship with the world? What is my relationship with God? What is my ultimate goal of life? 55th question is, what are the 4 principal questions of inquisite living entities? Answer is, if a person develops such a mentality out of good fortune, he detaches himself from material enjoyment and becomes inquisitive. Then, to obtain knowledge, such a person asks himself these 4 questions. Who am I? Who is the enjoyer of the material world? What is this vast universe? What is my actual relationship with this universe? 56th question is, when does an embodied soul become liberated? Answer is, by nature an embodied soul is a materialist. When he obtains the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and desires to become free from material enjoyment, he gradually endeavors to free himself from the material contamination. When he achieves success in these attempts, he becomes liberated. 57th question is, when can the living entities who are parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord arouse their love of God? Answer is, as sparks emanate from a complete fire, the living entities emanate from Krishna, who is the Supreme Complete Consciousness. Just as a spark possesses the same quality as the fire, each living entity can manifest the qualities of the Supreme Consciousness. As a spark possessing the power to burn can reveal itself by the help of air and burn the entire world, a living entity, after obtaining Krishna Chandra, the object of love, can arouse the flood of his love to God. Love of God. 58th question is, what is the fate of a fortunate and an unfortunate person? Answer is, amongst the introspective jivas, those who are more fortunate and pious get the association of sadhus. In such association, those pious jivas take to chant the Lord's holy name, which eventually transports them to the doorways of the spiritual sky. The less fortunate introspective jivas are attracted to the paths of karma and janana, by which they worship many demigods or try to merge into the impersonal Brahman. 59th question is, what is the material bondage for the living entity? Answer is, the spirit soul is pure. He does not have any bondage. Material bondage means that a living entity is bewildered by Maya and proudly considers his subtle body, which he received from Maya, as himself. Therefore, material bondage of the living entity is not factual. Forgetting one's constitutional position is like the illusion of seeing wealth where there is none, or seeing a person without a head. 60th question is, how did the spirit's soul develop material propensities? Answer is, according to his own nature, every spirit soul has a pure identity as the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. This identity is based on the pure ego of the spirit soul. Under the shelter of the pure ego, the spirit's soul also possesses the power of discrimination and feelings of happiness. He knows other objects and other living entities as well as the Supreme Lord, who is the object of his worship. He also has full knowledge and a mind suitable for meditation. When a spirit's soul becomes materially conditioned, his spiritual qualities transform into a gross and subtle body and manifests mundane propensities because of association with matter. 61st question is, what is the difference between the liberated state and the conditioned state? Answer is, a living entity who is a pure devotee of Krishna is not conditioned by Maya. By the mercy of Krishna, such a soul is liberated from the material world. He is a liberated soul and is in the liberated state. Then again, a living entity who avoids Krishna falls into the clutches of Maya. He is a conditioned soul and is in the conditioned state. 62nd question is who is superior, a Brahman or a Vaishnava? Answer is a Brahman is the highest among human beings whose intelligence is not fully developed. A person whose intelligence is fully developed is a Vaishnava. 63rd question is what is the purpose and result of the dry speculators' questions? Answer is questions are of two types. One type is under the shelter of dry speculations and other is with the faith in devotional service. The second type is such that the faith of the inquirer is satisfied. One should never answer the questions of dry speculators because they never believe the truth. Their arguments are influenced by Maya and they cannot progress the path of inconceivable spiritual truth. Even if one tries hard to convince them, they will not make any spiritual progress. Their goal is to give up trust in God. 64th question is what is the difference between the Janana and the Vaishnava? The Janani and Vaishnava. Answer is there are many differences between the liberated souls who are on the path of impersonal knowledge and those who are devotees. The Janani hates his material body and always endeavors to not receive another body. The devotee becomes detached from his body because of separation from Krishna and on seeing Krishna considers his body successful. The Janani exhausts his sinful reactions by enjoying them, but the devotee simply depends on the will of Krishna. 65th question is can one see the spiritual world in one's mind? Answer is as long as the mind of a living entity remains absorbed in material thoughts and wanders in the material world, it cannot see the spiritual world which lies beyond the material sky and is full of knowledge. 66th question is who is an intelligent person and who is an unfortunate person? Answer is one who understands material existence is an intelligent person and one who remains in the wheel of material existence is an unfortunate person. 67th question is the life of a devotee and the life of a conditioned soul the same? Answer is there is a gulf of difference between the life of a devotee and that of the persons bewildered by Maya. Although they appear the same on the outside, on the inside the level of difference is vast. 68th question is what is the difference between a materialist and a spiritualist? Answer is externally there is no difference between a materialist and a spiritualist, but their internal moods are different. 69th question is who is the enjoyer? Is the living entity not an enjoyer? Answer is a living entity can never be the enjoyer of another living entity. All the living entities are enjoyed and the Lord Krishna is the only enjoyer. 70th question is the life of a person who possesses good qualities useless? Answer is even though a person possesses good qualities, his life is useless if he is without devotional service to Krishna. 71st question is what is the difference between liberated and conditioned states? Answer is in the liberated state we have a spiritual form. In the conditioned state we have a form of indistinct matter and spirit. In the liberated state Vaikuntha Rasa is enjoyed and in the conditioned state it should be sought after. 72nd question is what is the understanding of I and mine in the liberated state? Answer is in the liberated state the idea of I and mine is fully spiritual and faultless. 73rd question is how does a living entity develop his spiritual body and realize his spiritual identity? Answer is the Jiva is pure spirit soul, part and parcel of the absolute whole. He has a transcendental origin, from that is all perfect. He has forgotten his perfect spiritual state and come under the clutches of Maya. He is offensive to Lord Krishna and is inebriated from the false mundane designations of his gross body. If by the mercy of a pure devotee, spiritual master, he regains knowledge of his origin, and rediscovery of his original identity can be quickly be accomplished. 74th question is, what is the meaning of spiritual male body and spiritual female body? Answer is, because of the power of Maya, a soul residing in the material world imagines that she is male. In the understanding of pure spirit, Krishna is the only male and all others are female. In spirit, there is no sign of material male or female. If one intently meditates on this rasa, one can become qualified to become a gopi in Vraja. A person who yearns to attain Madhurya Ras will become qualified to become a gopi in Vraja. By repeatedly desiring in this way, one attains that perfection. 75th question is, what is the difference between Krishna, Maya and living entity? Why does a living entity becomes entangled in matter? Answer is, Krishna is compared to the sun and is full of knowledge and bliss. Maya is his shadow or perverted reflection. The living entity is an infinitesimal particle of Krishna's effulgence. When the living entity contacts Maya, he is captured and bound by Maya because of his marginal nature, Tathastha. 76th question is, why is the difference between the Supreme Brahman and the living entity an eternal one? Answer is, if water is mixed with milk, no one can detect it, but a swan can immediately separate the milk from water. Similarly, following the words of the spiritual master, the devotees can at once tell the difference between Supreme Brahman and the living entities, even though the Mayavadis claim that the living entities merge into Brahman at the time of annihilation. 77th question is, why can the living entities and the Supreme Lord not merge together? Answer is, if milk is added to milk or water is added to water, they mix, but they do not become one in all respects, because the quantity of the two objects does not diminish. In the same way, despite merging into the Supreme Lord through meditation, the living entities do not attain oneness. This is the verdict of the pure-hearted learned scholars. 78th question is, can a living entity become God? Answer is, although the waves are part of the ocean, they can never become the ocean. Although the living entities are parts and parcels of God, they can never become God. 79th question is, what are the symptoms of an unfortunate soul? Answer is, everyone should know that an unfortunate living entity is overconfident in the power of his own intelligence. Such a person rejects the mercy of the Lord and by the force of false logic falls repeatedly into the pit of illusion. 80th question is, why should one give up attachment for his body? The flesh is not our own, alas, the mortal frame a chain. The soul confined for former wrongs should try to rise again. With that, we complete our 22nd chapter and move on to 23rd chapter of the topic Material World. So the first question is, what is the material world? Answer is, the material world is the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. That which is best in the ideal world is best in its reflection, and that which is lowest in the ideal is highest in its reflection. One can easily understand this by watching one's bodily limbs reflected in a mirror. Second question is, does the material world have an independent existence? Answer is, the material world has no independent existence. It simply is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. The existence, mood and process, which are pure and auspicious in their ideal position, become inauspicious when reflected here. The qualities that directly create eternal auspiciousness there become pious activities when reflected here. The qualities that indirectly produce auspiciousness there create inauspiciousness here and are considered sinful activities. Third question is the material world false? Answer is, the material world is not false, it is real because of the will of Krishna. However, the material concept of I and mine, which are maintaining the world, is false. Those who say that the material world is false are Mayavadis, they are offenders. Fourth question is, why is the material world not false? Answer is, if you say that this visible world is false, how can you possibly fulfill your purpose? If you bring water in a pitcher, you can use it for many purposes. You cannot say that the pitcher is false, but you can say it is temporary. Similarly, since this visible world helps you fulfill your purpose, you cannot say it is false. Fifth question is, how is the material world temporary even though it is not false? Answer is, to say that the material world is eternal and real because it has emanated from the eternal cognizant absolute truth is unreasonable. Such a statement is an outright lie. To say that the material world is the transformation of God is also unreasonable. The truth is that this material world is real but temporary. As a touchstone produces gold, the energy of Supreme Lord has produced the temporary material world. Question 6. Is attachment to material world auspicious? Answer is, I have wasted my time uselessly in trying to become happy in the material world. I have not gained anything, rather I have created havoc. What kind of material existence is this? It is just like a magic show. I am wasting my days uselessly by becoming attached to it. Seventh question is, what is the value of enjoyment in the material world? Answer is, there is no happiness in a material enjoyment. We simply gratify our senses. Even if there is any happiness, it is only the absence of distress. Happiness that is full of fear is not actual happiness. Learned scholars call it distress. Eighth question is, how is the total material ingredients, ego, 5 gross elements, their attributes and the senses of the living entities created? What are the living entities? Answer is, in the transcendental atmosphere, Paryavoma, where spiritual majesty preponderates, there is presence of Sri Narayana, who is not different from Krishna. Mahashankarsana, objective planary facsimile of the extended personality of Sri Narayana, is also the divine planary portion of the propagatory embodiment of Sri Krishna. By the power of his spiritual energy, a planary subjective portion of him, eternally reposing in the neural system of Viraja, forming the boundary between the spiritual and mundane realms, casting his glance at his creation unto the limiting shadow, potency Maya, who is located far away from himself. Thereupon Shambhu, Lord of Pradhana, embodying the sustainative principle of all material entities, who is the same as Rudra, the dim reflection of the Supreme Lord's own divine glance, consummates his intercourse with Maya, the efficient mundane casual principle. But he can do nothing independently of the energy of Mahavishnu, representing the direct spiritual power of Krishna. Therefore, the principle of Mahat, or the perverted cognitive faculty, is produced only when the subjective planary portion of Krishna, who is the supreme divine avatara Mahavishnu, who is the subjective portion of Shankarasana, himself the subjective portion of Krishna, is propitious towards the active mutual endeavors of Maya, Shiva's consort Shakti, and Pradhana, or the principle of sustainative mundane casuality. Agreeably to the initiative of Mahavishnu, the consort of Shiva creates successfully the mundane ego Ahankara, the 5 mundane elements bhutas, viz. Space, etc., their attributes tanmatras, and the limited senses of the conditioned soul, Jiva. The constituent particle in the form of effulgence of Mahavishnu are manifest as the individual souls, Jivas. With that, we complete our 23rd chapter and move on to 24th chapter, which is called Spiritual World. First question is the spiritual world incomplete? Answer is, the storehouse of Vaikuntha is always complete. Lord Sri Krishna Chandra, the lovable object of all, constantly invites the living entities to come through the open door of that storehouse. Second question, what is Vraja? What does Vraja mean? Answer is, the appearance of the truth of Vaikuntha is the pure consciousness of the living entities of this world is called Vraja. The word Vraja means to go. Third question is Vaikuntha incomplete or limited? Answer is, Sad bhave pi visesya sarvam dan nitya dhamani. The splendor of the spiritual abode is established by the quality of variegatedness. Although that splendor is eternal, Vaikuntha is nevertheless non-dual and constitutionally eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. The material world consists of dualities arising from time, place and circumstance. Yet because Vaikuntha is transcendental to the material creation, it is without duality and fault. Fourth question is, are the descriptions about spiritual world taken and concocted from matter? Chik Shakti Nirmimtam Sarvam Yad Vaikunthe Sanatanam Pratibhatam Prapanche Smin Jadarupam Malanvitam. Some people try to impose their material ideas on the nature of Vaikuntha, and thus they become overwhelmed by prejudices. Later, they try to establish their prejudices by shrewd arguments. Their descriptions of Vaikuntha and the pastimes of Lord are material. Those types of conclusions arise only due to improper knowledge of the absolute truth. Only those who have not deeply discussed spiritual topics will have the propensity to rationalize in this way. The doubtful hearts of the Madhumaya Adhikaris are always swinging between the material and the spiritual due to their being unable to cross into the realm of absolute truth. Actually, the variegatedness seen in the material world is only a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. The difference between the material and spiritual world is this. In the spiritual world, everything is blissful and faultless, whereas in the material world, everything is a temporary mixture of happiness and distress, and full of impurities arising from time and place. Therefore, the descriptions of the spiritual world are not imitations of those of the material world. Rather, they are most coveted ideals. Fifth question is, are the pastimes, abode and form of Krishna in the spiritual world imaginary or transcendental? Answer is, the actual truth is spiritual truth. Variegatedness is eternally present in it. By this feature, the spiritual abode, the spiritual form, spiritual name, qualities and pastimes of Krishna are established. Only those who are self-realized and who have no relationship with Maya relish his pastimes. The transcendental world, the abode for performing pastimes, is made of touchstone, and the forms of Krishna are all spiritual. With this, we complete today's session, and we'll continue from here on in the next session. My sincere obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev and the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.